Well, hello, and hello, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Talk Variety Show. My name is Andy Asher. This show today is a milestone. Here's the backstory. A short while ago, I met the most fascinating person as an actual guest on this show. She is multi-talented, super smart, tons of energy, and I got thinking, what if she could share some of her magic with everyone every week? In other words, host the show with me. Well, she said yes. So here we are. And let me introduce you to author, entrepreneur, military veteran, Laura Leone. And I'm very excited to have you join me, Laura.
Hi, Andy. Thank you for having me back. It's great to be here, and it's great to be in the local area with you as well, which is really cool because we're here on this virtual environment, but I'm actually local to you pretty much.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that way very often in this day and age. With Zoom, it almost seems like anybody could be next door, but it just so happens that we're right in the same area.
Exactly. I think we're only about 20-30 minutes apart, and I really love your show. I've been checking it out. I like how you do the variety stuff with, the cooking on one segment and maybe an author in another segment. And that's a little old school. I do remember variety shows growing up, and it's great, because it's not just stagnant every week.
That was sort of the idea of old-time variety shows, because there was always something going on, and you really didn't expect what to see, and it just was a little bit of an element of surprise, but also the variety, like you say, with cooking and guests, and we have our supermarket tabloid section, and we add other shows and other segments as time goes on, but anyway, the idea is to have fun and informative, and I'm just glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to having a weekly, basically a weekly tour of a new segment.
Actually, yeah, that's it. Now joining Laura and I is Mimi in the kitchen. Let's see what now she's working on.
Well, hello again with a nice smoothie. If you like blueberries like I do, this is delicious.
Hey, thanks, Mimi. That sounds good. Look forward to finding out more when we get back to you. Hey, Laura, what kind of food do you savor really like?
My background is Mexican American, so I do like a little bit of Mexican American, but my husband is Italian, so we're really big on the Italian and Mexican American theme, but we also love things like sushi, and it's just a little healthy, little variety there. How about you?
Well, I do like sushi as well, and I love Mediterranean. That's what Mimi is an expert at. And with the title, the Let's Talk Variety Show, we invite inspirational guests who can teach or have something interesting to share. And this week, it's the amazing Ed Hajim with an unbelievable story of being kidnapped, growing up in orphanages, later growing up to become a humble high achiever in business and helping people. Every one of his lessons are memorable. And here is the rest of his story.
I had one major disadvantage, which didn't become an advantage. I was angry. I was angry because I looked around as a child and said, why me? Hey, how come these guys, what's the story here? I'm in this orphanage. Why me? So I was angry, and I couldn't figure out why I was angry, which meant through tennis rackets, you got annoyed at something that shouldn't have got annoyed at. I had to get a hold of that. And you start to understand yourself early in your 20s and so forth, and you start to capture this. Or you also understand what your talents are, what your capabilities are, what you like and what you dislike. But early on, you almost have no control. It's very funny. And that's why writing the book has been great for me, because I've grasped these things. And, my father was a difficult character. He had some really good qualities, but I thought I was like my father. But as soon as I met my mother 50 years later, and I realized I was as much like her as him. And the other parts of me, I saw it. She was very different. He was a feeler and and not a thinker, and she was a thinker and not a feeler. So that's why she was able to give me up, and he couldn't give me up. He wanted me no matter what. He didn't realize at 3 years old it wasn't so easy to manage me.
Huh. Yeah,
but those are the kind of things. So being out of balance, and you recognize you're out of balance, and you say, I got to get back in balance. It could take a little while. And recognize, you go to your wife or your family, say, look, guys, this is going to be difficult for me. I've got this, medical problem, or I've got this job problem. It's going to take me a while, and I'm not going to be able to spend the time on you as I can, and I will eventually. Or actually plan in, this what they call quality time, which I'm not sure is right, but make sure you cut out a certain amount of time you spend to get yourself back into that particular realm. And that's why I say, as soon as you get to be relatively successful, you've got to take on what I call community, giving back, because it really is a whole part of your life, and maybe the reason we were put on the planet.
Yeah, it's truly an amazing story, Laura. And when I talked with him, I just was so fascinated by how he survived as a child and a teenager, and how as an adult he grew to be an amazing person. I think it's a real inspirational story.
Yeah, he's a hero, and he's an inspiration to, unfortunately, I think they said something like half of the people, or 50 to 70% of the people that are locked up in prison were in the foster care system.
Wow.
And I heard that today from Ashton Kutcher. I don't know if you want to look it up, but I guess Ashton Kutcher, he is a co-founder, the actor, the co-founder of, he has a software called Spotlight that, helps to locate, trafficked children and stuff like that. And he had said the stats were like 500,000 kids are in foster care in the US, and roughly 70% or so of those in prison were, touched the foster care system. And then, about 50% of those have been in really, not good situations. So it's even more amazing that someone like Ed has risen above that and thrived. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, what amazed me is the very stories that you talk about, and you hear such sad outcomes of it all. And here is somebody that, once he hit school, and it turns out he was a real smart guy, which helps, and he made a wonderful life for himself. So that's a good story. And now, a moment ago, we teased, Mimi, we teased what she was working on in the kitchen. Let's dip back in and find out a little bit more.
Well, hello again with a nice smoothie. If you like blueberries like I do, this is delicious. All the vitamins, all the flavors, all the good things that can bring you on a very hot day. So we have a cup of mangoes. You can use frozen or fresh. Some mint, okay, because I love mint, so that's what it is. And then we have 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries, and please use organic, okay? That's the best way to go. Then we have 1 cup of organic Greek yogurt, no flavor, just plain, all right? And 1/4 cup or so of almond milk, or soy milk, or oat milk, or just milk, all right? And to make it a little bit sweet, because too sweet is not that good, I have date syrup. It's delicious. So if I had dates, I would put a date in there, but I do have date syrup. It's all natural, so it comes from dates. So I just put a little dab here. Bam, that's it. And we're good. We're gonna start doing this. It is delicious. Let's do it. Okay. Beautiful color, and it smells good. So let's, so because I put frozen mango, I didn't have to put some ice. But if you use fresh, like, you have to put a few cubes of ice. Et voila. And you put a little of this here. Voila. So good. Let me taste it. Can't say anything. It's delicious. Talk to you later. Hope you enjoyed this recipe.
Hey, thanks, Mimi. I love your smoothies. And Laura, there's so many smoothie places around town these days. It's not hard to find them, but you gotta like them too. I find them so refreshing and healthy. How about you?
I love smoothies, and one reason is because I switched over to a pescatarian Mediterranean / diet, and a lot of plant-based stuff. And my husband is he's over 50, let's say, and he's basically off diabetic meds by drinking things like smoothies and just being more aware.
One of our fun features on the show is our supermarket tabloid segment to find out what's happening, with famous people and learn about healthy diets and new movies and everything about pop culture. And I'm a pushover for all that stuff. This month, one of the most popular is this Barbieheimer phenomenon. It's those two big blockbusters, Barbie and Oppenheimer, that opened about 2 weeks ago. And now People magazine was making a big splash about Barbie. Watch this.
Well, Margot is
Definitely.
uncrackable.
No, I was
She's
laughing through
a rock.
everything. Ryan would do
It's
something
frustrating.
different on every take. And I honestly, I usually am pretty good about not breaking in a scene
Yeah.
because I don't want to ruin anyone's take if they're doing something great. And I couldn't hold it together 50% of the time.
Well, there you go. That is an interview that People magazine did with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. And I'm a big Ryan Gosling fan. I did not know that much about Margot Robbie, even though she's a huge star. I did see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where she did a great job in that. But it was a fun movie, and the thing that when you go to the theater, you see a lot of the little girls are all dressed. Well, not little girls, or a lot of them are adult women are dressed up like Barbie.
That's really cool. I honestly haven't seen it yet, but I have seen a clip for Barbie and by the way, I love both of them, especially Ryan Gosling, where it looks like it's like the Wizard of Oz, like it's, instead of a yellow brick road, it's like a pink brick road. And, so I don't know how much that mirrors that, but I think that's pretty cool.
Well, that really brings us to the end of this show. Laura, I really want to thank you so much for joining me, and I want to thank everyone for supporting the show. And if you liked or you learned something new, want to just tell you 3 ways you can support the show and to keep Let's Talk Variety Show going. And number 1, just get yourself subscribed. Every show, I'm bringing inspirational guests who teach or have something interesting to share. So just take a moment to hit that subscribe button.
Number 2, the ultimate way to support the Let's Talk Variety Show, and it takes less than a minute, is to just write a quick one-liner review. And this helps the algorithms and helps us get out there and get bigger and bigger guests on the show.
And number 3, just share the show with your friends. Just hit that share button. Now, we do live stream, and I'm eternally grateful. I just want to tell you that. Thank you so much for supporting the Let's Talk Variety Show. And it's all about productivity, positivity, happiness, and inspiration. So long. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.